There is an undeniable, raw power in a man who has truly lived. This isn't about the number of years on a calendar, but the depth of the experiences he has survived. He is the kind of man who doesn't flinch when life gets difficult, doesn't beg when things don't go his way, and never chases after anyone or anything. He carries himself with a quiet, heavy authority, the look of a man who has walked through the fire of life and come out tempered like steel rather than burned to ash. This man, especially as he matures, has reached a point where he is no longer interested in performing for an audience. He isn't trying to impress you, and he certainly isn't looking for your approval. Ironically, it is this exact lack of desperation, this total detachment from the need to be liked, that makes him absolutely irresistible. In a modern world that is constantly screaming for attention, most people are just noise. They use flash, expensive toys, and constant social media updates to try and prove their worth. But quality women aren't drawn to that shallow noise. They are drawn to presence. Presence is something you can't buy and you can't fake. It is a weight in the room. It is the energy of a man who is completely comfortable in his own skin. Nothing builds this magnetic presence faster or more effectively than the ancient practice of Stoicism. While the world around him is loud, fast, and increasingly fake, the man who moves with silence, depth, and internal discipline stands out like a monolith. He becomes a natural magnet simply because he is one of the few things that is actually real. He doesn't react to petty drama, and he doesn't crumble or feel diminished when he is ignored. He understands that his value is internal, so he stays still while everyone else is running in circles looking for validation. While younger, less experienced men are out there exhausting themselves chasing after attention, the older man who understands the game has learned how to command it without saying a word. He knows a secret that most men will never learn. You don't need to be a multimillionaire, you don't need a perfect physique, and you don't need to be a smooth talking charmer to attract high quality women. Those are just external shells. To be truly magnetic, you simply need to embody the specific habits that make a man mentally and emotionally untouchable. These aren't temporary tricks or pickup gimmicks meant to fool people. They are fundamental shifts in your mindset and your daily actions. When you repeat these actions every single day, they stop being things you do and start becoming who you are. This isn't just a self improvement tip, it is a total transformation of your character. Whether you have already reached your mature years or you are a younger man preparing for that stage of life, these strategies are designed to make you a person of high impact. This is about the way you speak with intention, the way you sit comfortably in total silence without feeling the need to fill the air with nervous chatter, and the way you ruthlessly protect your internal peace from outside interference. It is about developing an aura of calm authority that people can feel the moment you enter a room. Every second you choose to live by these higher standards, you become a rarer breed of man. You become the kind of person who is automatically respected by other men and deeply desired by women. You stop being a background character in other people's lives and start becoming the steady, unshakable center of your own. This is how you move from being someone who hopes to be noticed to being someone who can never be forgotten. Habit 1. Emotional control. The foundational truth of masculinity is that a man who cannot control his emotions cannot control anything else in his life. Control starts from within, and women possess an almost biological radar for detecting this trait. They realize instantly whether you are a man of substance or a man of glass. The moment you lose your cool over a minor inconvenience, whether you're snapping at a waiter for a slow order, getting visibly frustrated in traffic, or venting bitterly about an ex, you are being categorized. You might think you're just venting, but she sees a man who lacks a filter and a backbone. In her mind, she is silently labeling you as weak, reactive, and unreliable. Truly attractive men, especially those who have matured into their power, possess a genuine, deep seated stillness that cannot be faked. It is the ability to stay centered when the world around you is spinning out of control. You don't let small things rattle your cage, and you never feel the desperate need to over explain your actions or justify your feelings to anyone. When you stop handing out your emotions like cheap candy, the entire social dynamic shifts in your favor. Most men are emotional open books. They give away their anger, their excitement, and their frustration to anyone who asks for it. When you withhold that, people realize they actually have to earn a seat at your table. They have to work to see what's behind the curtain. This creates a vacuum that others naturally want to fill, and that is exactly when they start chasing your validation instead of the other way around. Your emotional control acts as a heavy anchor in a world of drifting boats. When a woman is experiencing her own internal chaos, drama, or uncertainty, your stillness is a lighthouse. It signals to her nervous system that you are a safe harbor. If she doesn't feel that rock solid stability in your character, she will never feel comfortable enough to fully surrender to you, either emotionally or physically. She needs to know that if her world falls apart, yours won't. Mastering this habit requires you to ruthlessly detach your self worth from external events. You have to reach a point where your internal state is independent of your environment. Whether your business is booming or facing a setback, or whether the woman you're with is being warm or acting cold, your core remains consistent. You are the same man regardless of the weather. This is the essence of Stoicism. It isn't about being an emotionless robot or a cold statue. It's about owning your emotions so they never have the chance to own you. You feel the anger, you feel the disappointment, but you choose how to channel it. You don't cry over spilled milk. You clean it up and move forward without a second thought. When you can lean back, take a deep breath, and let the storm pass while other men are breaking and panicking, you become something rare and magnetic. You become irresistible because you represent the one thing everyone is looking for: unshakable strength. Habit 2: strategic silence. One of the most potent and underrated powers a man can ever develop is the art of strategic silence. This is not the awkward silence of someone who has nothing to say, nor is it the passive aggressive silence of someone who is sulking. This is a deliberate, tactical choice. Strategic silence communicates a level of high value confidence that words never could. It screams that you are not desperate for approval, you are not there to be a clown for someone's entertainment, and you are perfectly comfortable in your own presence. Most men suffer from a deep seated insecurity that forces them to fill every quiet moment with noise. They tell too many jokes, offer too many compliments, or ramble through boring stories just to avoid a pause. Women see right through this noise and recognize it for what it is: a plea for attention. When you break that cycle and use silence with purpose, you force the other person to lean into your world. You create a magnetic mystery that people, especially women, feel a subconscious need to solve. Silence acts as a force multiplier for your communication. It makes your words much heavier. When you speak less, every sentence you eventually utter carries 10 times the weight of a man who never shuts up. You must learn to use this with intention. Start by pausing for 2 or 3 seconds before answering a question. Listen to what people are saying with your full attention, but without the need to interrupt or one up their story. Most importantly, when there is a moment of tension or a lull in the conversation, do not be the first one to break it. Hold the silence. Let the other person feel the weight of it. This takes significant practice because our natural urge is to fix the discomfort of a quiet room, but you must let the silence do the heavy lifting for you. A man who refuses to rush his response shows the world that he is grounded, centered, and completely indifferent to the pressure of social expectations. By mastering silence, you effectively protect your energy and maintain your frame. You stop arguing with people to prove a point because you realize that your silence is often a more devastating rebuttal than any clever comeback. You let fools talk themselves into circles while you remain the calm observer. This stillness creates a powerful sense of gravity. In a dating context, it makes you the prize. While every other guy is texting her paragraphs and trying to impress her with game, your quiet, steady presence makes her wonder what you're thinking. It triggers her imagination, and a woman's imagination is the most powerful tool you have for building attraction. When she pushes or tries to test your boundaries, you don't push back with loud words. You simply stay still. That stillness pulls her in deeper than any joke or compliment ever could. You become the man who says the least but is heard the most. Habit 3: calm physical presence. Your body is constantly communicating with the world long before you ever decide to open your mouth. Most men are completely unaware that they are broadcasting their deepest insecurities through every twitch and turn. They fidget with their phones, tap their feet, make quick, jerky gestures, and constantly shift their weight like a boy who hasn't yet grown into his own skin. This restless movement is a subconscious signal of a flight or fight response. It tells everyone around you that you are anxious, on edge, and uncomfortable in your current environment. An irresistible man, however, moves with a completely different frequency. He is grounded, heavy, and deliberate. He doesn't try to take up space with aggressive posturing. He simply owns the space he occupies by existing within it fully. When you walk into a room, you shouldn't need to announce your arrival or look around for approval. If your physical presence is dialed in, people will feel the shift in the room's energy without you saying a single word. You don't need a world class physique or a perfect face to achieve this. You need unshakable composure. The secret to mastering this habit is to practice moving as if nothing happening outside of you has the power to control what is happening inside of you. This is the physical manifestation of Stoicism: being composed, collected, and precise. When you sit, you should be relaxed, not slumped, but comfortable, with your shoulders down and your chest open. When you engage with someone, your eye contact should be steady and calm, not darting around the room looking for distractions or exits. This level of physical stillness tells the world that you are a man who is entirely comfortable with himself, and, most importantly, a man who does not require external validation to feel secure. You aren't scanning the environment to see if people are looking at you. You are the center of your own world. This kind of calm authority is rare because most people are constantly reacting to the noises and movements of others. When you remain still while everyone else is vibrating with nervous energy, you become a focal point of strength. If your physical presence has the power to calm a woman's nervous system, she will begin to crave your company without even understanding why. We live in a world where everyone is stressed, anxious, and moving too fast. If you are the one man who provides a sense of solid, grounded peace, you become an addictive presence. She feels she can finally exhale and relax when she is near you because your body language says, "I have everything under control." This is why you must make stillness your shield and intentionality your foundation. Every move you make, from the way you reach for a glass to the way you turn your head, should have a purpose. Don't rush, don't flinch, don't react to sudden noises or sharp comments with jerking movements. When you move slowly and with intention, you signal that you are the master of your time and your body. That physical certainty is the ultimate masculine attractant. Habit 4: controlled attention. Your attention is the most valuable currency you possess, yet the average man goes broke every single day by spending it on everyone and everything. We see it everywhere. Men liking every post on social media, replying to texts within seconds, and showering women with constant, unearned compliments. This behavior is a massive mistake because it kills mystery and makes you entirely predictable. When you are always available and always giving away your focus, your attention loses its value. It becomes cheap. An older man who truly understands the game is ruthlessly selective with his attention. He doesn't just hand it out because someone is attractive or because he's bored. He observes the world without the need to react to it, and he only gives his direct focus when it has been earned through high quality behavior or genuine connection. This selectivity is exactly what gives your time and your energy their premium status. You have to understand that constant reassurance is like a drug. It provides a quick high, but eventually people build a tolerance to it and lose interest. If you are always there to tell her she's beautiful or to validate her every thought, she no longer has to wonder about where she stands with you. When there is no wonder, there is no tension. And when there is no tension, attraction dies. By pulling back and letting someone feel the occasional absence of your attention, you are not playing mind games. You are practicing self respect. You are reminding her and yourself that you aren't just another man desperate for a win or a reply. You are a man who chooses who gets access to his inner circle. This dynamic forces a woman to actually invest in the relationship and work for your response. It makes the connection feel earned and alive because she knows that when you do give her your full attention, it really means something. Keep your attention sharp and focused like a laser, but never hand it out for free. If you are on a date, be 100% present. But when you are on your mission or at work, be 100% gone. Don't be the guy who is constantly checking in just to stay relevant in her mind. Let the silence work for you. Let her sit with the curiosity of what you are doing and who you are with. When you aren't a constant source of reassurance, she has to use her imagination to fill in the blanks. And her imagination will always build a more powerful version of you than a dozen desperate text messages ever could. Real power is knowing that your presence is a privilege. When you value your attention, the world begins to value it too. You move from being a man who is easy to get to a man who is worth keeping. And that shift changes everything about how you are perceived and respected. Habit 5: Mastery of time. A man who controls his time is a man who controls his entire destiny. In a world full of people drifting aimlessly, time is the ultimate separator between the leader and the follower. Most men are reckless with their hours. They chase cheap distractions, scroll mindlessly through social media, or linger in meaningless conversations just to feel included. They are constantly available, and that availability is a loud admission that they have nothing of importance going on in their lives. You must understand that when a woman sees you have no command over your own schedule, she instinctively loses respect for you. She sees a man who can be easily swayed and distracted. But the man who values his time like gold sends a silent, powerful message to everyone he meets. I am building something significant, and I will not allow you to waste my life. This sense of purpose is what makes a man truly magnetic. Being unavailable because you are deeply focused on your mission isn't playing hard to get. It is being hard to get because your life actually has a price tag on it. Mastery of time means your entire existence is built on a foundation of ironclad intention. You don't just wake up and hope for the best. Your mornings are structured with discipline, and your evenings are dedicated to recharging for the battles of the next day. Every hour has a label. When you live with this level of precision, anyone who wants a piece of your time has to realize they are fitting into a life that is already overflowing with purpose. This is a massive shift in power. You must never, under any circumstances, cancel your gym session, your work hours, or your personal goals just to grab a moment of attention or validation from a woman. If you sacrifice your mission for her company, you have just told her that she is more important than your future. And ironically, that is exactly when she will start to lose interest. She wants to be part of a winning story, not the reason the story stopped being written. When you say you are available at 7, you mean 7, not 6:45 because you're eager and not 7:15 because you're disorganized. Guarding your time with this level of ferocity shows that you have priorities that exist far beyond social approval. You aren't a man waiting for a text to decide what his day looks like. You are a man who decides what his day looks like and invites others to join if they can keep up. If you respect your time, the rest of the world will have no choice but to respect it too. They will see that your minutes are valuable and they will cherish the time they actually get with you. But if you waste your hours and let people hijack your schedule, you become just another forgettable man in a sea of average guys who have nowhere to go and all day to get there. Habit 6: non reactivity under pressure. The real measure of a man is never found on a sunny day when everything is going his way. It is found in the middle of a storm. Life will inevitably throw punches, financial setbacks, social challenges, or a woman testing your boundaries to see what you are made of. In these moments, most men crack. They lose their composure, raise their voices, start defending themselves like children, and fall headfirst into emotional traps. They react, and the moment they react, they lose their power. The irresistible, stoic man does the exact opposite. When the pressure turns up, he becomes even stiller. He doesn't flinch, he doesn't panic, and he doesn't feel the need to shout. He simply stays calm, he watches the situation unfold, and he breathes. This non reactivity is the purest form of power because it is visual proof that you have been in the fire before and you cannot be shaken by the flames.